And we are back, everybody. It's your girl, Lauren Reed, right here on What I As a Radio.
Yeah.
And we found our guest.
There she is.
She's here. We found her. We have Felicia Harris here. She is the principal of HiTouch Enterprises. Hello, Felicia.
Felicia, everybody.
Man.
We're here.
I've been trying to get Felicia on the show for some time now, even
Yeah?
when we were back at the other place.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So actually, I met Felicia at from Friends.
Okay.
And then she came on. She was a visitor with someone with the show at the other place.
Okay.
And we were looking at each other like, girl.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
I figured out
I introduced myself like I have met you. That's right. It was a couple years back, though.
You ever know you see somebody, you like, I know them from somewhere, but I don't know where. Literally, we had just been at their cookout.
Yep.
Wow. That's right. I remember
Tiffany,
this.
Well, Tiffany is a friend of the show, so he knows
Yeah,
Tiff.
yeah.
So we were like, oh, yeah.
That's what's up.
So we had met there. So I was like, I got to get you back on the show.
Did you go to Temple, too?
Only for my master's
No, excuse me.
To you?
No, excuse me. Keep it quiet, please.
We can claim it. To you.
I need background music to introduce this. For the first time, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a HU. Alumni. HU, you know,
Whack.
in the building. Bisons all day. I'm hyped because the first time.
In the history of Lauren,
I'm a bison first, always.
Listen,
always.
every
Bison first.
damn show is somebody here from Temple, and I'm like,
that's
hey. I have my Howard
You
shirt
can have-
on, and be
you have
like,
this moment.
see you.
Bam, bam, bam,
See
There
you.
you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Howard is finally in the building.
That's what's up.
Yes.
I like
But
Howard.
she still went to Temple. I get it.
Yeah, my
Under-
master's, yeah. Had to-
Undergrad is different.
Yeah, she got her master's at Temple. She knows.
But I bleed blue.
Yay. See that? You had a chance to go
We
there
can't all be
too.
perfect.
You had a chance. You had a chance too, but you took another route. But anyway, no, we are so happy to have you here on the show. Finally,
Yeah.
You have so much going on, and we wanted to end off Women's History Month with you here because you are definitely a mover and shaker in the city. So we're going to jump right in and start talking about who are you, Felicia Harris?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I wear so many different hats, so a lot of times when people ask me that I have the thing, I'm like, so what does this person do? So whatever I say is relevant, but I'll just run it off because we're on the show today.
Let's do it.
Right.
So first and foremost, I'm principal of HiTouch Enterprises, marketing and fundraising company. I chair the Philadelphia Commission for Women. I was appointed by the mayor. I'm third vice president of the NAACP. I'm founder and president of the Influencing Action Movement. We do mentoring for high school students and young professionals.
When do you sleep?
That's all you got?
Like, do you nap or no?
Oh no, I sleep. Don't get it twisted. I sleep.
Yeah.
It's about building a team.
Yes,
I don't do it all by
yes,
myself.
yes.
You have to have a team.
Sure.
The team is definitely important. So, just kind of tell us how you kind of sort of got your start and how you kind of molded yourself into this pioneer that you are right now.
Wow, I've never even heard anyone say that before.
You know what I mean?
Wow,
That's what we do around here.
pioneer.
You gas
So-
up people, you know what I'm saying?
So
We're not gassing. You are
No,
you are definitely a pioneer.
I'm gonna give you the real. Like this was God's plan. This was not my plan because my plan it fell through a few times. So I graduated. I came out of Howard in 2008, which was during a recession, and
I was one of those, yes.
so we were like, what, last in, first out?
Yep.
Yeah, and I had a job in New York. I wanted to be a stager for a real estate company.
Okay.
And so I was a marketing major. I'm like, yes. And then I was like, what's my niche in marketing? And I was like, all right, real estate. So when I graduated, I already had my real estate license and already had a job in New York. Like I started working 2 weeks after graduation.
Wow.
And then, September rolled around and the big mortgage bubble and the housing market collapsed.
When the fun happened, right?
Oh my gosh. I was like in a panic because I'm like, half my college career, I'm thinking like this is exactly what I was going to do. I was
said
excited.
nothing will ever happen to this market.
What?
Right.
They lied.
Everything happens to that market.
and you're in New York.
And I was
Yeah.
in New York. It was expensive.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
to move back home.
Yeah.
I basically humbly bowed out
Right.
of the real estate market, and I came back to Philly, and I got a job at the Urban Affairs Coalition. I was actually an advocate for minority workers on the Pennsylvania Convention Center expansion project. And so basically I was on site and would verify that the minorities that the contractor said they had was really working because, they be lying.
Yes.
It it was an important job, but it was boring.
Okay.
And so I used that time, I guess, to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And along that time, I just made one thing that remained consistent is I volunteered. Okay. And so I volunteered with a program that helps teenage girls while they're in high school, because I went through the program myself. So every Saturday I was volunteering with the program. I had extra time on my hands. So then I started to actually like plan the workshops and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Maybe I could be a school teacher. Wrong. I was like, oh, I'm going to teach high school math because I'm good at math and I like working with high school students. And so I went back to school. I went back to Arcadia first for a year to get my master's. And then one of my teachers referred me to this teaching fellows program, and she said they can pay for your master's. I was like, why not? Word. But I had to quit my job to join the program. So I quit my job, got into the program, and then I failed out of the program because I couldn't pass all the exams for certification. Oh, wow. And so then I was unemployed in the middle of August, like hair looking a mess. Like I was back living with my mom, and it was just not pleasant.
Like stressing.
It was like, I was like, what am I doing in my life? Student loans was kicking in. They didn't want to hear that I didn't have a job. They didn't want me to defer.
The biggest pimp in the world.
Those are like the best things that ever happen. Like those downfalls is because you do have all the time like, how the hell am I going to get out of this?
There's nowhere else to go.
And that's where you become the most creative.
Well, so I act on impulse because I can't be just complacent, and I can't, the word failure is not an option, right? And so, but I accept it, but I accept that I failed, but I don't have to live in my failure. Sure. Right? So I don't live in it. Yeah. And so I immediately was like, well, you know what? I'm going to move to DC, because at the same time, one thing I want to say is that, and I don't think I've ever publicly said it, but I was embarrassed because everyone knew I quit my job to do this program. I was and I was like at the top of the program. Yeah. And then, you fell out of the program and you like what you going to do now? What happened?
Damn, what homie in high school, the man, homie.
I ran. So I had to run from my embarrassment. So I was like, I'm moving to DC. I'm going back to DC. My girlfriend at the time, she said, oh, my lease is almost up in my place. We can get a 2-bedroom apartment together. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Right. I started applying to jobs. I got a job in 2 weeks. Wow. I was executive assistant to the president at the Center for Education Reform, and they do like educational policy. They're pro-choice, pro-charter. And you ever seen The Devil Wears Prada?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was my job.
Oh, really?
She was the Devil Wears.
She was
Prada. It was so bad. Whoa. Like I was losing hair. I was losing
calling
sleep.
You all the
phone was just ringing.
Oh my gosh! So my doctor ended up putting me. I had to take sleeping pills just to sleep because I couldn't sleep through the night. I had really bad anxiety, and like I would be having panic attacks. I literally would be in my car. I was late to work every day because I was in my car crying, not wanting to go in.
Oh my gosh,
real.
You had a real life Miranda.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I was not tough enough for that job because I was also it was only me and one other black person in office. Okay. And
we know how that story goes.
We know. We don't even have to go into it.
It was so bad. It was so bad. And so I was stressed, and my mom was like, you could come home. I was like, no, I'm not coming home. I'm not coming home again. Not again. And I actually ended up getting carpal tunnel actually in both of my hands, and on one of my hands I had to have surgery, all from this job, because I was like this every day, just typing, and she was like down my back, and she was a monster. And I know. And after the surgery, I was like, you know what, this is too much. I asked the doctor, like, what could I do? And my doctor told me to quit my job.
Number one.
My doctor said you should quit your job. So I quit.
Right.
And I came back to Philly again with
Third
no
time.
Plan. Second time.
Okay.
No plan again. Just like
I'm
straight
here.
Bum.
Right.
I was like a
straight bum.
My dad this time, he was like, well, he's like, you messing up your credit. So he's like, you need to just take any job. And I'm like, I'm not like working fast food. I'm not working retail. Right. So I went to I ended up working in a call center. I went to a temp agency, and they placed me in a call center with one-on-one internet. It's like a GoDaddy.
Okay.
And so, like, I learned everything about hosting, how to build websites.
That's awesome.
I was like, oh, this is a great little side thing.
Practical knowledge. Yeah.
So I created a blog called phillygirltalk.com in my downtime. I was like, well, I have to have, you have to have a project to build to use those skills.
Absolutely.
So I started this website called phillygirltalk.com, and basically it was a mentoring website where each week me and my friends, we would rotate on who wrote a blog post about a different issue that we knew teenage girls were facing and engage them in a dialogue. So we were trying to influence action through conversation. And essentially our guy friends was like, you ain't got nothing for the guys. So he's like, all right. So we started FullyGuyTalk.com. Okay. And so now we have these 2 blogs, and then this after school program picks up one, and they're like, oh, can you like make this like a virtual mentoring program? He's like, sure, I don't got nothing else to do working in this call center. Yeah. And so then that's how the influencing action movement was born.
So you started seeing everything happening.
So during that time, I was still applying to other jobs, and one of my mentors, Councilwoman Marion Tasco, because I met her through volunteering. During this whole entire time, I still volunteered with this girls program. Wow. Even when I was in DC.
From the very beginning.
From the very beginning. I traveled back from DC every weekend just to volunteer with this program.
That's why your hair is falling out.
But that was actually the one thing that gave me peace. It was like an escape.
Okay.
Like working with the girls, like it was like so fulfilling.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So then like starting this blog, and then a blog development to a program, like it was a happy place for me.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah. And so like one of my mottos is service is the rent we pay for our time here on earth. And I think that because I remained consistent in my giving, I think God started to bless me. And then also God had to humble me because I had a plan, and he was like, no, this isn't the plan I had for you. And when I kind of got to a point where I just surrendered and just started letting things happen, like the blog blossomed, turned into a whole program. We got funded for 3 years. Wow. That's how Influencing Action Movement was born. And then after that, one of my mentors said, the Urban Affairs Coalition where I worked at before, they're looking for an executive assistant to the president. I was like, what? Whoa. I was like, no, I just left.
Right.
Yeah, and executive assistant. That made me pull my hair out and have carpal tunnel. I'm good.
I was like, I'm good. I said no.
You had to get surgery for that.
I said no. And my dad said, well, if you don't like it, you can quit.
Your dad said yes.
He's like, I'm tired of getting you money every month. I think me and my dad probably celebrated like a 5-year anniversary since the last time I actually had to borrow money from him. If you're out there and you have daughters, just know that you may still be financially supporting them until like the age of 25 or 30. So be prepared.
That's not right. I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I just texted my dad about a birthday gift today, and it was monetary.
Right.
just know you're still gonna have to be a crutch.
Yo,
so
that is like crazy. Like, so you were Philly, New York, DC, back to Philly, like all over the place, and that's how I Am was birthed, basically. Yep. And then all these other things started to flourish from that. Yes. So hold that thought. We'll be back. We're going to talk more about that. You were not here when we announced this, but tonight our playlist is pretty much surrounded by your last name. So you're Felicia Harris. We decided to do our favorite T.I. songs because he is Tip Harris. So we're on our the third song for the night.
Kinfolk, what up, Kinfolk?
Is it my pick or your pick? Oh, it's my pick. That's on me, right?
Yep.
This is one of my favorites because it has JT with it. So this is T.I. with JT, Dead and Gone. It's your girl, Lauren Ree, on What I Ask Radio. We will be right back.
We are back.
Yes.
We're live, Water Ice Radio.
Hey.
We got Felicia Harris from HiTouch Incorporated. Just got her backstory on how she got to where she's at right now.
Yes.
So we're going to move past all that.
I know. I had to tell people how
it was great.
The struggle was real.
We were talking about it off camera. Like, people need to tell these stories so that people can understand that there is a struggle. And that you got to outlive it. You got to get past it, to get to where you got to go.
And it's okay to share it.
Right.
Because some people don't want to share it. Like you said, the embarrassment of it. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, they don't want people to know. But you got to share it.
Yeah.
Get it off.
It is definitely enlightening when you hear other people's stories that's very similar to yours. It's like, oh, okay.
Yep.
We good. Yep. So that's what's up. Thanks for sharing.
So HiTouch Enterprises, definitely want to know how that came about. Doing some research, you guys have done fundraising for nonprofits and raised over $3 million, have over 200 events. You guys do marketing, event production. Just talk about how you came up with HiTouch Enterprise.
So I took that job as executive assistant at the Urban Affairs Coalition, knowing I was going to quit after 2 weeks, and I actually stayed there for 6 years.
Wow.
It was like a dream job because after like the first 6 months, the marketing director left. Remember, I had this marketing degree, and literally the president of the company, Charmaine Metlock-Turner, I love her to death. She took me under her wing and she taught me everything that she knew.
So she wasn't Miranda. You got that opposite.
Yes, she was like Oprah.
But Miranda got you ready.
She did. did. Oh my gosh, I felt like that was executive assistant boot camp.
Right.
I came in the first day. I'm like, so how do you want your coffee? I came in the first day. How do you want your coffee? She said, I didn't hire you to make coffee. Wow. I hired you to work. I'm like, ooh, yes. And she's all about equipping and empowering women to be their best selves. And so like that's why it was a dream job.
That's amazing.
Definitely it had its grit moments, but I never felt belittled. Okay. I always felt like she was preparing me for something, and she did. And so UAC actually is a client now, Urban Affairs Coalition.
Look at that.
They have the biggest networking breakfast in the city of Philadelphia. It's at the convention center, almost 1,000 people. Wow. And we raise between $450,000 to $500,000 a year. Dang. When I first got,
can I hire you to just fundraise for me? I just want money.
We need some money.
So when I first got there, though, and this is a lesson for people, you have to learn before you can lead. And so I took time to learn, because she had already been doing that breakfast for about 12 years before I got there. And she was raising close to $300,000 and had about 600 people. And so I learned what she did, and then I also could see like where improvement could be made. And so I mastered that system and then came up with new systems, and to the point where 6 years later I was doing it myself, and other people and other companies started to see that, and they're like, wait, can you do that for me too? And so the African American Chamber of Commerce was my first client, like outside of working at UAC, which helped me start HiTouch Enterprises. The president, Mike Banks, that was his first year as president. He was like, look, this first year I had to blow it out the water, and I need somebody like you on my team. I'm like, me? I was like, look, I just started grad school. I got a plan.
Right.
Again, I got my plan. And he was like, I think you should do this. He had to ask me. I said no 3 times before I finally said yes.
Still came back. Wow.
Before I finally said yes, and I did it. I think I was scared because it was like stepping out on my own. Like, I didn't even tell my job that I was starting this business and I was doing this project. My boss found out when she came to the event.
Oh, wow.
So she that's how she found out you did the event?
She came to the event. I knew she was coming to the event. And she put 2 and 2 together when she saw me like with the headset on and stuff. And she was like, wait, you like, when did you find time to do it? It's working for me. Right. And so, but that I made a point though, right? Because it's like, oh, you can do both,
right?
And I did do both.
Find you one that can do both, yo.
So they doubled their fundraising that year. Wow. So they went from 70,000 to when they brought me on, we did 140,000 in the first year, and we sold out at 650 people. And before, they probably had between 300 and 400 people come to the event.
Wow.
So I'm all about paying for convenience and services and things of that nature. And I think that it's really important that people do things grassroots and know that they can do things on their own. But why is it important to have someone like HiTouch Enterprise back you in certain events that you're kind of doing to push yourself forward?
I think that having a company like mine, we come in objective. I think that when you have your baby and you nurse it from the ground up, or when you're in it day to day, there are certain things that you don't see, and then there are a lot of things that you only see because it's yours.
Because it's yours.
Right? And so, like, even like I said, I had to learn before I could lead. When I went into UAC, she had been doing it for like 13, 14 years already by herself. And so it's like they kind of became stagnant. And so then you have me, I come in and I'm like, well, let's try these things, because I have an objective eye. And I think that's what I bring and my company brings to the table. When people bring us on, we don't come into like, oh, this is the right way to do it. We come and we learn what you're already doing. We want to know about the culture of the organization. We want to know what your mission is. We want to know what your future goals are. Yeah, you want to raise more money, but like, what's the long-term objective, and what is this money being used for? Right. Because at the end of the day, I'm still a marketer, and so it's about crafting a message. Right. And so all the events that I produce or that HiTouch produces, they're all for marketing purposes. So it's to tell the story. We're going to raise money at the same time, but we have to tell the story.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I was just like, I feel like, because I'm in marketing as well, but I just like, I have questions about like how or what you saw, what they were doing, and how'd you put your own touch into it, but we don't have to talk about that.
That's off air stuff.
Secrets. Yeah,
I got you. So what kind of business should come to HiTouch? Like, what should they have already together?
All of them.
Yeah. So that's an awesome question, because people call me, they think that I can just raise money out of thin air. Right. and I have to have a consultation. And at the end of the consultation, some people I have to tell that I can't help you, just to be honest. And so when we talk about the type of clients that HiTouch service on a nonprofit side, they're usually nonprofits that already have a network. You already have to have a database. And the thing is, you may not be maximizing it. So that's what we help you do. But you already have to have the relationships. And if you already have the relationships, then we can work with that. Yeah. Now, if you don't have the relationships, you need to have the capital, because it's going to take time and money to build the relationships. Absolutely. And you can't be looking to raise money within a year if you don't have the relationships. So you have to have the capital to invest into building those relationships, going out to events. Okay. And like, we help you with that strategy. We help you maintain those relationships, because the first time you ask someone for money, it shouldn't be the first time you meet with them.
Right.
You have to build a relationship. They have to learn your company. So it might also require some rebranding. So I actually have some clients where it's like, they may have gotten a grant and they have funding and they can hire us, and they're like, great. And so now we have like this 2-year plan where we can rebrand everything they're doing, recraft, retell their message, and simultaneously help them build those relationships. Excuse me. And then by year 2, they're raising money.
So I have 2 questions. So what if they don't have, first one is, what if they don't have the capital or the foundation,
or the relationships? Yeah. You need a grant writer. I'm not a grant writer. I'm gonna say that I'm not a grant writer. I would say you need a grant writer so that you can get the capital. Or 2, you need to start spending time building those relationships. And then after you build those relationships, then give us a call. But you have to have one or the other.
And when you say building those relationships, you're talking about networking and the different sponsors you want to kind of reach out to, different things of that nature.
Definitely networking. And I mean, I give out free advice all the time. And so if you're listening and you don't have the network or the capital, and you're trying to figure out, how do I build a network, look at some of the top sponsors and go to their events. Yeah. A lot of people expect people just to come to their stuff. Oh, well, I invited all these people and they didn't come. Are you going to other people's stuff?
Right.
You have to get out there. You have to go to other people's stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you have to talk to people when you go. Yeah. And then you have to follow up with them when you get there. It's really not rocket science.
Yeah. It's a process, but it ain't hard.
It's not hard.
So then my other question was, can you just explain how important it is for any organization to really focus on their branding?
Oh, branding is everything. Especially during a time where everything is so oversaturated. I'm actually encouraging people to go back to traditional forms of marketing, because social media and the internet is like flooded, and if you don't have the money to put behind great paid advertisement, or you don't have great creative concepts that could possibly make something go viral, not everything is going to go viral. Correct. And a lot of the things that go viral, people never expected them to go viral. It's not something you can plan for. So traditional marketing is actually becoming more effective, and I hope not everybody now goes and do it. Yeah. But get ahead of the game and go back to pen and paper. Yeah. Thank you, handwritten thank you notes. Like, people are like, oh, I haven't gotten a real note in forever, and it's nice. Let me put it on my desk.
I get happy when I get mail.
Send people gifts. Invest in swag. Yeah. Stuff with your logo on it and send it to their office. You have to go back to the basics.
Yeah. Wow. That's a gem. That's a free gem.
That is a free gem. I am going to ask for another free gem after this break. Okay. I want to talk about the importance of networking, because the bottom line is, people say, oh, I'm going to go to a networking event, and when they get there, they do the total opposite, right? So no, literally, there should be like a networking one-on-one class, because I don't think people really know how to network. So I'm going to ask you about that when we come back. Okay. But we have more music, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of actually lost on where we are.
We're on my pick.
We're on your pick. Okay.
What you know about that?
Yeah, that was on the that's my favorite movie.
ATL.
That's
your favorite movie?
It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, I was like, what?
I like no other words. Like, it's pretty sad. No.
That's you.
That's why it's
that's you.
Shut up. It's ratchet bougie. Don't do that to me. Not with guests in the building, okay? Okay?
That's kind of true.
Don't do it.
What you know about that? It was a hot song. Probably his biggest hit.
Yeah, it was really, really good. All right, you guys, it's your girl Lauren Reed right here on What Ice Radio. We have Felicia Harris in the building. Jay the Gentleman is here. We will be right back, everybody. We are back, everybody. It's your girl Lauren Reed right here on What Ice Radio. That was T.I. with You Don't Know Me.
You Don't Know Me. Your aggressive song.
Very aggressive, right? Now you understand why I might need to play this joint?
Look, I get it.
All right, cool.
I get it.
All right, so we have Felicia Harris here. She is the principal of HiTouch Enterprises, and she just has a plethora of things going on.
Hashtag life goals.
I was like, woo. We usually say that though when people come here, we like, yo, we gotta catch up.
Inspiring, right?
So beyond all of this stuff, we love to know what just about you. So what is some stuff that Felicia likes to do when she's not being
Bossing
the chairwoman on, Philadelphia Women's Commission? She's not running HiTouch or the I Am Influencing Action Movement, being a deacon. What are some things you like to do?
So I like to cook. I like to travel. And I forgot the third thing already, but definitely cooking and traveling and spending time with my friends.
Cool.
Yeah,
aww,
that's good stuff.
I know. Is your like support system like very strong? Like how they helped you throughout your career?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So I'm sometimes like a no new friends type person, no new friends. So a lot of my closest girlfriends, I've known them since high school.
Sure.
Okay.
And I even have some that I met when I was 4 and 5 years old.
I do too.
Me too.
And that's my tight circle. Yeah. And we've just been blessed that we've all kept each other motivated. And like we all, even though we're like in different fields, that we all have desires to be successful. We're all doing stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I feel like the friends that have dropped off is probably because they didn't go to college, or, they started hanging with different groups of people, or they just became complacent or content with mediocrity. In my circle, it was like, we strive for excellence.
Right. Motivation is contagious.
Yes,
it definitely is.
And then my parents. Oh my God, I had the best parents in the world. Shout out
mom and pops.
Shout out to mom and dad.
Yeah. That's so important.
My mom gets upset if she missed something. Like when I told her I was coming here for an interview.
That's my mom.
She's like, why can't I come to the interview? Why do you tell me you had an interview? I'm like, Mom, you can't come to everything. And sometimes I take that for granted, but then you look around and not everyone has that.
Sure.
So, but my parents, they like to be at everything, especially my mom. They sacrificed a lot for me to have what I have, and I just want to make them proud. Grandmom too. Shout out to grandmom.
Word.
Yes, shout out to grandmoms. So as we end off the interview, again, thank you for coming through. This was awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely the end of Women's History Month. Like, you definitely are the example.
We had a really good month.
We had a really good month. Shout out to all the other people that came on to the show. But I have to ask you, it really feels like it is like the time. This is women. It's like our time. Definitely, for sure. And to be a strong Black woman in this industry that you're in and making all of these moves that you're actually doing, how do you balance it all? How do you stay empowered?
I hate to get religious again, but people say they're spiritual. They hate to say they're religious. I'm religious.
Okay.
And I'm a diehard Baptist. I love Jesus is my homeboy.
I remember that T-shirt that I had out for a while.
Yeah.
Yes. I stay spiritually and religiously grounded. Religion to me provides the structure and the discipline that we need. And a lot of people want to only be spiritual and not religious because they don't like that structure and that discipline. Like, why do I have to take off my hat when I go into church? Why do I have to dress a certain way? Yet people don't question other religions. But Baptists, we always get questions. So that's like a whole nother topic for itself. But anyway, the principles for my Christianity and my baptism keep me grounded all the way. I pray a lot. I read the Bible. And I'm not afraid to talk about it. And I remember one time I was actually at an event on a panel, and I spoke about my religion and how that's kept me grounded, and how I've surrendered to God, and how He's blessed me because I give back the things that He gives to me. And someone after came up to me, she's like, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing that. She's like, I'm always so hesitant to talk about my religion. And you kind of make me comfortable doing that. Like, and actually makes me want to go back to church. Like, I haven't been to church.
Everybody else talks about their religion.
Yeah. I don't see what
the
big...
People go to war for that.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. And so I don't want to do anything to compromise my Christianity or my relationship with Christ. And so I always make sure that's at the forefront.
And that's definitely like a whole nother topic for another day, because that can be hard. That can be very, very hard at times. You just put a light bulb off in my head. But I just think that it's important to have people like you, especially a mentor for our young women, or just mentor in general, because I think that there's a lot of things in this world right now that are gravitating them in other directions. But there's a lot of good things that are gravitating our young Black women in good directions too. Like just this past weekend at the March for Our Lives, the 11-year-old who spoke, that's like in elementary school, that just spoke. And she said that she was there to speak in regards to all of the Black women that never get talked about, that are murdered, that are killed in school shootings, in police cars and stuff like that. It was a great speech. She's only 11 years old, right? And I just think that it's our time now. It's our time to speak up, to be heard. And you being in all of these different positions and have a different platform is just the beginning of that, and letting other women know that they can have their platforms too. So I applaud you. I salute you. I thank you for being able to come on my platform too and be able to have this conversation. So
yes, please keep the conversation going.
We have to.
Like you keeping that conversation going. And to add to that, at our Women's Summit this past Friday, we had Latasha Brown, who is the co-founder of Black Voters Matter, and she was our keynote speaker. And one thing that she said, which really stuck to me, is that when women work together, we win. And the thing is that women have always been the workers. Like, you can't, if you want to get a job done, you give it to a woman, not a man. Sorry.
Over here saying like roast beef, just like, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, you here? My bad.
Yeah.
You here.
And right, cool. I just Homer Simpson.
So this movement now about reclaiming our time, to me, it really just, it's not about, women finally stepping up. We've always been there.
Right.
It's about, this is like, we're tired of not being acknowledged for our work. Right. Period. And it's time for you to acknowledge that we are the ones that have kept this country together. We keep our families together. And even when a man isn't around, we keep our children's lives together.
Absolutely.
So, shout out to all the women out there that are doing it.
So what's next for Felicia Harris?
Oh my gosh. So I stopped really making plans. I still have a few. Jesus, God, he be scaring me, because I feel like when I make these plans, they don't always go as planned.
Right.
But I will give you guys an insider scoop. I really haven't publicly announced it.
So. We love exclusives out here.
So when I came in, what you guys can't see out there is that I bought them a mug. And most people would think of it as a coffee mug. It is not a coffee mug. It's a tea mug.
She told me, so tomorrow morning when I'm
tea.
Yeah.
It has to be tea.
Yes. Tea. So in 2020, look out for Ginger Tea House, which is my tea line.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And I'm also writing a book right now. Oh my gosh! But it's not a self-help book. It's like it's like fiction.
No, because I don't know. This is what
guest
number 5 or 6 that has published or is about to publish a book, and that's something
I want to do it.
I've been telling her like,
I'm having a fear moment. I'm going to be honest about that, and he like reminds me once a week. So
it's okay. I started writing my book like in 2007, like when I was in college.
Okay,
but you started it.
I took notes, and I've always wanted to write it. And
but you had some sort of
outline of what you want. I know. Okay, I hear you.
So just start writing down ideas, and eventually one day you'll get to the point like me where I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. And I kept getting signs, and so I actually had wrote a brief blurb about what this book would be, and somebody had published it in the magazine that they had. I had give like a summary of the book, and they DM'd me on my Instagram. Like, I guess it came up in their memory on Facebook from like 6 years ago.
Wow.
He's like, you remember when you wrote this? I'm like, okay, God, that means it's time. It's time.
I know. I'm gonna.
There
is my sign. There is my sign.
Go for it, girl.
And with that being said.
Wait, do you have like any events coming up?
We just got out of events.
Right.
But so I'm doing the African American Chamber of Commerce for the 3rd year. I'm doing their annual meeting and award ceremony, which is reception style at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts on Thursday, April 12th from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. and tickets are still on sale.
Nice.
Cool.
So you can go to aachamber.org.
Where can people find you?
Correct.
You can find me at HiTouch Inc.
St. Louis.
I'm HiTouchInc.com. I'm also HiTouch Inc. on all social media platforms. That's HiTouchInc.
Nice. All right, everybody, there you have it. That is the Lauren Ray Live Show.
Felicia Harris, everybody.
Hey, it's wonderful, wonderful interview.
Get some sleep.
I know, right? Jet lag.
Yes.
We will be back next week.
Yeah.
Is next week April?
Next week is April.
Whew.
Yeah.
March is finally over.
Finally.
Yes. We have a really good episode coming up next week. We got
a whole month of great guests.
I'm so excited. You guys will see the promos really, really soon.
Yeah.
Next week, though, however, I'll give a little teaser. We have the founder of Taste Creators, Brianna DeMeo. She will be here in the building. We're really excited to have her coming through. And then April is just star-studded. That's what I want to say. Philly star-studded for sure.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are going to enjoy it. So everybody, make sure you tune into the Lauren Ray Live Show every Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, right here on Water Ice Radio. Shout out to the whole entire Water Ice family. Shout out to everyone who supports the Water Ice family.
Absolutely.
And the WaterIce.com movement. We are your scoops of everything Philly. And never forget, guys, not all superheroes wear capes. Sometimes they wear headphones. Good night.
Peace, y'all.